Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Project C.A.R. So in this one we've already got the car up on the lift so we can work underneath it. So for this particular episode we're going to be working on removing parts behind the wheels, so the brakes are going to come off and everything that we don't need in order to keep the car on the rolling basis. So we'll do the front brakes, the rear brakes, we're going to remove the drivetrain. We're going to remove anything else that does not necessarily need to be there in order for the car to still roll. So we'll have a look at that and we'll strip back piece by piece. So first off, we're going to start by removing the tyres and then getting the brake assemblies off. Because mine has been standing still and I'm not driving it, my wheel nuts are hand tight, so I can easily take them off. However, if yours are properly tight, make sure that the car is on the ground when you start to undo them, so you can put some extra pressure behind it. Once they're loose, you can lift the car up and then take the wheels off. Like I said, mine are already hand tight, so I'm just going to take these off now. Alright, so first off we need to remove the dust cap. We can just pull that off, bit of wiggling, and it comes up. And mine's completely full of grease since the last overhaul hasn't been used. So we'll put that to the side for a minute. Then the next step, before we're going to take anything else off, we need to get rid of the brake caliper. So for that, we've got, and I'll use the other camera to show you. So you can see there, we've got two bolts that hold the caliper in place. And you can also see that the brake lines have already gone in. So we'll take the brake lines out first, and then we'll undo the two black bolts that hold the caliper in place, and then that should drop off nicely. We need a special wrench which has a small opening at the top. We'll pop it around the brake pipe and then get towards the nut and undo that. So that's the first one removed. Time for the second one now. And it's the same principle again. We'll just use a wrench and try to undo the lot. Alright, so they're now both loose. Next step is to undo the bolts, and then the brake caliper should come off. And there we go, one entire brake caliper removed. Now remember, don't forget to bleed the system before you do this, because otherwise you have brake fluid absolutely everywhere. I didn't have any fluid on my system yet, so that wasn't a problem. But yeah, here we go. So one brake caliper removed. We'll do the same on the left hand side in a bit, and then it's on to the back side. So as you can see here, there is what's called a split pen, and it's gone through, it's a safety pen, gone through, and then you bend the ends so it can't get out. So I have to bend these back, pull it out, and then we can undo the nut that holds the wheel hub in place. So we'll go and do that now. What I'll do is first just clean it up a bit, just so we can actually work with some nice clean environment. That should do. The safety pen removed. Now we can just use a socket wrench to get that out. I don't need my ratchet to undo that one. Bearing was a bit stuck. We'll take the bearing out. There you have it, one bearing. You can see on the inside, you can see that the brake disc is bolted to the wheel hub. A couple of bearings in there, and then that's it. So we'll put that to the side, clean it up, take it apart in a bit. And last but not least, we're going to remove the protective, the wheel housing cap, and they just come off with a size 10 socket. And there you have it. The plate is now removed as well. So as you can see, there's not much left of this front wheel assembly. So all we've got left is the actual mount attached to the front suspension. We'll clean all this up because it's got a lot of grease on it still. I think that is part of the assembly itself, yeah, so we can't take that off. but we'll clean it and then cover it so it doesn't rust or anything like that. And then we'll do the exact same thing at the other side. First off though, I need to grab a few boxes so we can put all the parts away that we've just taken off. We'll clean them, put them away, and then we'll repeat the process on the left hand side. Yeah, remember the start where I said we're going to keep this on a rolling basis? Not going to happen. I got carried away quite a bit, and I actually took the entire subframe and wheel hubs apart. So yeah, that means my car is now stuck on the lift and I can't move it anywhere until they come by the end of first week of September 2020 to pick up the car, to take it to a cam dip to have it bare metal and see what we actually got left. So yeah, rolling chassis ain't gonna happen, but nonetheless hopefully it shows you a bit more of how to take certain things apart and be of more value to you, really. So anyway, let's get back to work. We're going to take up the drive shaft and then we're going to move on to the rear wheels, where we will remove the rear brakes and suspension and everything else as well. So now that we've removed both the front wheel hubs, we're going to take out the drive shaft, get a bit more space in it, and then we can see how we're going to take out the rest. So for that, mine is only loosely in place. The back end isn't even attached, so all I have to do is remove the 3 bolts up front, and I believe them to be size 15, so we'll take those out and then it should come down. There's 2 more here that hold the support bracket halfway. Take them off and it should be good to go. So what we're doing is removing these 3 with the new nuts on them. Make sure your gearbox is in neutral, so you can actually rotate the unit. So we're going to take those 3 off. I'm not sure where I'm going to put my light. What I do need to do is invest in a freestanding light, which will be very useful at this point in time. But let's go and undo this lot. Okay, now that they're off, we can get the bolts out, or at least far enough. Next step, we need to undo the support bracket, then we can push it backwards, drop the front out, and pull it out. And these are, I think, 13s. Right, so these are already coming down. This is going to be interesting. Gotta hold him in place. So that's all fully loose. Bend him. There you go, drive shaft removed. So we've got the handbrake cables going through here. The rear brake cable goes, the hose goes through, and then eventually I want to reroute my fuel lines to go past here as well. That would be a little bit of a puzzle. Hopefully that will work. So yeah, it's the prop shaft now removed. I'm going to tidy this up, get it out of the way so I don't walk into it constantly, and then we'll keep working on the rest. So now it's time to do the rear brakes. But what I didn't realize is that my camera has actually been running the whole time, and when I got ready to record, I actually turned the camera off. So the whole thing was done without actually recording it. So for that I apologize. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run you through the steps and show you. So in the meantime, I've also lowered the rear subframe so we can actually have a good look at it. So first of all, you need to undo the handbrake cables at the top. So you go inside the car, undo the cables, and they come out through these 2 tubes here. So one will come out here, one will come out there. So what does that look like? They look like these cables here. So this is the bit that you undo in your handbrake inside the car. Then you pull it out and you end up with this cable, where this bit is attached to the back end. So we'll go and have a look at that next. When you get to the back of your car, what you'll find is you'll have the cover attached, something like that. Then the brake disc slides on like this, like that, and then your wheel sits on top of that. So first off is make sure you bleed the system as before. and then we're going to remove the caliper, which is held in by 2 bolts, which are bolted onto the back here. I don't know if you can see these 2 bolts. That's where the caliper hangs off. Once that is removed, you can then pull off the disc itself. So that is then removed, and then we're left with what is the actual brake pads for the handbrake. So you have this bit, and mind you, there's a few bits missing on mine. So because I've already thrown that away because they were done for. Anyway, this is what sits around your system here. So that sits about like this. Then you've got the other one sitting on the right. So at this point it's a little bit difficult to access, but what you need to do is you'll find that first off you need to undo the handbrake system. Now that comes through at the bottom, and I don't know if you can see, I have to line it up obviously. There's a big hole here, that one there, that's where he comes through. So you undo the 2 nuts at this end, then you can pull him out. He is attached to a little bracket, which I'll show you in the picture here, because we might be able to. Okay, I should not have worn gloves for this, really useful. So as you can see here, this is the bracket that then when you pull the cable, it rotates and expands the 2 discs from each other, so they do like that. So you undo that bit and it literally just clips into each other, as you can see here on the picture. Undo him, then you can undo the 2 bolts and then pull him out towards the front. The next step is for you to remove the 2 springs that go across here, and at the bottom they hold the 2 halves together nicely under tension. And then there's 2 screws in here which you'll have to rotate 90 degrees, which have a spring behind it, 90 degrees, and then they'll pop out, and that releases the whole system from your hub. So then once the bottom spring is removed, your handbrake is removed, you can kind of undo them, pull them apart if you want, or fold them open far enough, because I only did the bottom spring, so I folded it open so you can then lift off and then put it to the side like I've done here. What you're left with is the cover plate, which again is with 3 10mm socket bolts. So you can undo that one. The only problem is you can't pull it off because of the shaft that's still in it. So in order to get him out, you need to undo this unit here. So you undo all these bolts and then you should be able to pull it out. I haven't done it yet because that's going to be my next step, is to clean this up and take it apart. I've got a new different diff coming. I've got a limited slip diff because we're going to rally it, so I figure we need to do a bit of an upgrade there. The rest is going to stay pretty stock because of the regulation. But anyway, that's something for a different subject. I just figured I wanted you to see how it actually works in the back end with regards to the brakes and all that. I know it's not as clear as it would have been when I was taking it off the car. Unfortunately, I can't do it anymore unless I bolt everything back up. But hopefully this has explained how it works. If you have any questions, do let me know. Give me a shout in the comments below or hit me up on the email or anything like that. I will do my best to answer your questions. And we'll move on to the next episode, in which we will start working on the front of the car. We'll get the engine ready to be dropped out, which will be a 2-parter for sure, including the engine coming out itself. So that's going to be the next one, and then we'll move back to the rear end, where we'll then finally take out the rear subframe. Then the last episode before the car goes will be the removal of the front and rear windscreen. So that's all yet to come. For now, this is it. Hopefully it's been of good use to you and you've learned something. And if you have any questions, like I said, hit me up and I'll answer them as best as I can. So see you the next time. Bye bye.